Brilliant, 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 brilliant. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning, good
Good
morning, good
morning, good
morning.
morning. Are you well, Jessica?
Yeah, I am
Yeah.
very much so.
All good, all good.
So I
Take it easy.
finished your writing, by the
All
way.
good, all good, all good. Let's hear, let's hear. We'll get right into it.
Okay. And so
You've been
this one
sleeping all
is
right
here
before we get into your writing? You've been sleeping okay?
for the most part, yeah.
Oh, good, 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 good,
Yeah.
good, good, good. All right. So what did you do? Uh, what is the writing about? I mean,
Well, I'm going to screen share here.
brilliant, 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 brilliant.
All right. So I wrote this, like I finished it up, basically is what I did. The gift in perspective shifting and healing, breaking free from generational cycles.
Wonderful,
A,
wonderful.
a victim mindset is a consequence of being completely unaware, ignorant, and having the assumption of being helpless, believing be believing
It's
it
someone
to
else.
be someone else's fault. Yeah, believing it's someone else's fault. I don't know where that came from.
Mm. Probably it to be. All good, all good.
That's where I went wrong. It
Yeah,
to
all good.
be.
Yeah,
That makes more sense.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. While growing up in an inappropriate environment, I don't understand why, or I didn't understand why the things that happened to me or my family members took place, or even why, as a young teen or an adult, I kept choosing inappropriate relationships. To find the answer, I must ask myself, what is the gift in this?
Yeah.
The gift is my perspective shifting on how I feel, think, and associate with those inappropriate interactions. I have a deeper understanding of how it all came to be, instead of repetitively thinking of myself and my family as victims. Thus, we are no longer victims, but warriors of the past that was set in our paths to learn from, to grow from, and to break free from. Generations of constant abuse, neglect, and manipulation are no longer a part of our present and future as we work to break the continuous past cycle. Because we have come to understand and be aware of our own true selves and made the transition from being completely dependent on how others view us and wanting their acceptance in whatever way we could get it to knowing what we deserve according to our own definitions and understandings,
Mm.
giving ourselves validation, taking on different thoughts, actions, feelings, and owning them. When our own thoughts, actions, and feelings, or when we own our thoughts, actions, and feelings, we own our energy. Once we have become aware of and understand this concept,
Mm.
this concept of perspective shifting and the gift in it, I cannot possibly go back to the victim mindset and think and feel like my thoughts, actions, and feelings are the effect of how someone else treated me or
Brilliant,
of how
brilliant,
I was raised. By
brilliant.
living in that mindset, I was limiting myself of options, solutions, and limiting my accessibility to the universe. I was choosing
Mm.
to be considered a victim because it was a way to not assume responsibility of myself. If
For
I were
myself.
to look,
Yeah, not that it
thank you.
matters. It's not that critical.
Well, it does matter because it does make it flow better.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. If I were to look death in the eyes and ask it, what would you say to me right now or right in this moment to help me cross to the other side of of that veil? I would imagine it saying something like this. You have quite a few years to live yet. However, when the time comes, make sure you live your life to the fullest. Learn, grow, live without regrets, make amends with yourself, shift how you perceive even the tiniest of moments. Finding, or finally, finally, live a life with an open mind and heart. Live deliberately, impeccably, and appropriately.
Yeah. Wonderful. 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 Live deliberately, impeccably, and appropriately. Yes. You know, if we can make that our mantra, what am I doing? I'm, I'm living deliberately. I'm being impeccable. I'm living appropriately. Am I being appropriate? Am I being impeccable? Am I being deliberate? You know, just to have that as a repetition
Oh, yeah.
throughout the day, just until that becomes second nature, that we're always thinking that way. This is very, very powerful. Very, very, very powerful. Yes?
Yes, very much so.
Very,
Um,
very
and
cool.
that was also like, my takeaway on partially, because I did review one question, but in my own way, about death in session two, module two,
Ah,
or module two, session two. Um, and this was, just about just owning myself and those questions of owning, okay, my actions, my own feelings, my own thoughts. It's not somebody else's job to control how I deal with something or
ah,
how I think about something or how I feel about something. It's
yeah,
my job.
exactly.
And if you
Exactly.
put that job on somebody else, you literally are giving them way more than like
Power and control. Yes.
well, yeah, way more power and control, but also it's unfair to them because
Oh,
it's giving
yeah.
them a task
Yeah.
that
Yes.
they cannot do.
Exactly. Exactly. The very astute insight there. Very important. Very important understanding. Yeah. Very, very
And
important. Yeah.
so regardless of like how I was treated in the past, it's not only just the concept of giving them power and control still over how I live my life or how I feel or think about myself, but it's being literally like even though they hurt me, it's
Yeah.
being literally unfair to them that I'm putting that on them.
Exactly. Exactly. And also, they hurt you then, not now.
Hmm.
Right?
Yeah, and but
That
see, this is
then. It's not now. They're not hurting you now. Yeah.
no,
And
and that's
also,
why
exactly. And also, like your brother, he was as much a victim as you. Yes.
both
In
of
his
them were, yeah,
process. Say again?
both of them were, yeah.
Exactly. Both of them. So to hold them responsible and, somebody who's like that priest, who's, but maybe a bit more aware, and you could say, yeah, but they should know better. Even people like that, when you caught up in bubbles of badness or evil or wrongdoing or foolishness, it's all an unawareness bubble, and it's tragic, right? So
Yes.
yes, there is a way we can hold people responsible, certainly. At the same token, also there's also understanding that, if you were to choose, you wouldn't choose to be their brand of foolishness, right?
No.
So this is a very big deal. So for me, I just, I feel more sorry for them than angry. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. And that's the thing, is that like something that I've acquired as of late, um, is that I can still hold people responsible for their own choices, actions, thoughts, and feelings, their own.
Yes,
Um, However, I also must turn that focus also on myself and holding myself responsible and accountable
exactly.
for my own actions, thoughts, feelings. I cannot put full blame on somebody else because of my own unawareness
Exactly.
at the
Ex-
time. You know what I mean? So
Exactly. Exactly, including yourself.
Yes.
You cannot hold yourself responsible for your own unawareness. If
You
you
know, I
did,
talked to some.
oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
As I say, if you did something that you knew better at the time, say, oh, well, I know I shouldn't do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. All right, then hold yourself responsible. But you can't hold yourself responsible for your ignorance, for your unawareness.
No,
Just can't.
no, you can't. And that's the thing too, is that I I don't know, like I spent so long trying to hold like be angry and be and hold other people responsible and accountable for how I thought felt and what I did, that literally like this goes into uh module 2 session 3 about, finding joy and but
Uh,
things like that. For me, I was so miserable, constantly waiting for them to
yeah,
see what they've done wrong and to apologize to me,
yes,
that I missed out on so many amazing opportunities in life. Um, that could definitely come later on too, but
wow,
I I wasted that time, and that's my own undoing.
yeah,
Um, that is my own responsibility that I have to take, is the fact that I chose to limit myself,
yeah,
to um not access, my full potential, and keep growing with that full potential and keep, making it more. And then, not celebrating myself because something that I something that I did right. It's a quote that I made based on that really quick. Um in my way of being, way of living, and way of impeccability, I can find joy. I can and I will find joy within myself and my journey to my moreness. And
mm,
uh and into the unknown within myself, my journey into my moreness. I'm gonna take out and here. A second here.
mm, mm.
All right. My journey into my moreness and into the unknown. I will be able to trust myself in knowing I can deal with the situation when it comes as I step out into the unknown, and keeping in mind that in my own trust, I'm still able to remain in a state of being and humility.
Mm. Wonderful, 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 wonderful. Um, uh, responsibility. Trying to think where that came up in the sessions. You said module 2, session
Oh
3.
yeah, it was a module 2, session 3.
All right. Module 2. Wow, because I have a quote for you. Something that you said that made a connection that I don't think I put in there anyway. So we'll see. We'll see. Module 2, session 3. Module. Where is it now?
While you look for that, I'll be right back.
All right. All right. Uh, right. Uh, Yeah, there is no module 2, session 3. It's only two.
Where was I at here? Let me look here.
It's
In
probably module 2, session 2. The moment of now or exemplification of being, which one?
exemplification,
Of
a
being. That's
simplification of
session,
being.
that's module 3, session 2. Other way around.
Oh, module 3,
2, 3,
session 2.
but 3, 2. Yeah. All right. All right, let me screen share here, and then we'll find an appropriate place to put this in. All right, exemplification of being, perspectives and insights, life panic, self-assuredness. Yes, it's in this here. They're all rooted in ability to adjust, unrelenting positivity, in the spirit of with all this, we sound just a no, and there's not always time to figure out what to learn. Then what? That's when we bring in capital T, trust, trusting our personal power, capability, difference in being, demand, throwing out ego and emotional considerations. I think right underneath this would be the appropriate place. All right. So let's do it this way and see if it keeps the italics. Okay, so the price of holding others, others, where are you going here? Others responsible for our unhappiness is that we also hold them responsible for our happiness. Yes?
Yes.
And that is a very steep price, which I don't think people who blame those who cause their misery consider. Yeah?
Exactly.
And they
And
don't consider, but wait a second, I'm giving away my power.
mhm.
Yeah.
But however, there like, like there's everything, there's a fine line. And reason why I'm saying that is because of the fact that you can go from holding them accountable for their for I guess your happiness, your unhappiness, your thoughts, your feelings, things like that. Um you're oh, what was I gonna say with that?
I don't know.
Oh, people go into this whole, or people can go into this whole self-righteousness. Does that make sense?
Exactly. Yes. That's very powerful here in this context.
Yes.
Exactly.
So it's being
Exactly.
careful about, um, how far you go to taking on responsibility,
Yeah.
your own responsibility, as well as, no longer, um, you know, oh, no longer holding them accountable, but being angry still nonetheless.
Exactly. Right?
Yes. Now,
Not under any circumstances.
yes, because you're still giving him power
Exactly.
if you're becoming self-righteous.
Exactly.
Also,
And that,
we,
yeah.
if you
Right.
look at
And
we,
that self-righteousness, I just want to say why it is so important. Because it's the belief in superiority.
yes,
So
because
if
you
I
can
believe
get
in
into that belief.
superiority and somebody's done something to me, in my mind, they pushed me down and they're above me. Yes? How do I get that back again? I do it through self-righteousness.
Yes.
That particular kind of self-righteousness. Now, peculiarly enough, impeccability is truly being self-righteous.
Appropriately self-righteous.
Exactly. In a genuine way, right? Appropriately,
Yes,
legitimately so, not bullshit self-righteousness, right?
exactly. But it's
Yeah.
also humility. So, it's very
Exactly.
much so in that sense of being, you know,
Exactly. My righteousness is not based on my arrogance, but on my humility.
yes,
And that is a huge, huge, huge difference. Yeah.
very much so. Because if you're basing it on arrogance, then you're also, um, oh, there was a certain thing that I read. If you base it on arrogance, you're also basing it on just your abilities to
Yeah.
deal with something. You're not basing it on your knowledge, your impeccability, your deliberateness, your intent, you know.
There we go. Say again what
Love
you
it.
just said.
Um, so being self-righteous, you're in that sense, in as well as in arrogance, when you're basing your self-righteousness off of arrogance, um, you're literally like you're not holding yourself accountable, but B, also you are creating the belief that you know everything, you know more,
Exactly.
you know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Which is arrogance. Yes.
It's complete arrogance.
It's
When you're
true
arrogant,
because
you're not
I
taking
say it's true.
responsibility.
I mean, that's just astonishing to me.
Well,
Eh,
yeah, and also you're basing it on your abilities. Like not your
Yeah,
abilities, but like what you know, things like
exactly.
that. You're
Yeah,
not truly basing it on, anything of humility or impeccability or intent or deliberateness. You're not basing it on that. You're basing it on literally like what you can do.
yeah, yeah. Bullshit.
And
Not really.
it's complete bullshit. And that's why I like how it said like how that mind frame of, I guess, frame of mind is very fragile.
Yes,
Um in that to that extent, and reason being is because it is very much so bullshit. If you're only basing your your own abilities, your own, um what you can or can't do, you're limiting yourself for one, but for two, you're bullshitting yourself,
exactly.
and you're gonna try and bullshit those around you, but then you'd be surprised of how many people can see right through that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So you really, in all honesty, you are making yourself look like a complete nincompoop.
Exactly. 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 I know it's the great flaw in bullshit the system. They always believe nobody sees their bullshit when everybody does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just don't say anything about it. Right? Yeah.
Sometimes it's not appropriate to say something about it yet.
And it's difficult too. It's really difficult. It is that scaffolding diplomacy. It takes
Yep.
inordinate skill to say things. You can be
Yes,
blunt.
it does.
The way to be blunt, it is possible, but that also has its own costs and price. So, all right, let's continue with Dictionary of Power. Very cool. Very cool. Very cool. Very cool. Very cool. All right. Appropriateness, actions which match motivations, goals, and intents to the particulars of context and circumstance. There we go. Very powerful. Very, this the understanding of appropriateness. This is astonishing how it is not something that is common knowledge, right? I mean, for one,
Exactly.
appropriateness is confused with proper. When I said, like to some people, it's like, okay, the one word appropriateness. They say proper. Oh no, but I can't be, to be proper. It's like, no, it has nothing to do with proper. It's like a whole different deal, right? And you can't possibly be appropriate all the time or stuff like that. They just get it all wrong. Just fascinates me. This confusion.
Yeah, appropriateness does not mean proper to me. Appropriateness
No.
to me means that, you know, you're you're using the appropriate time, place, words, actions, and you're living impeccably, and as well as you're living deliberately in that moment. Appropriateness is like the foundation,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah. So
know,
appropriateness,
of
you
all
could
that.
say, is matching your actions, right, which are determined by your goals, your motivations, your intents, right? So your doings, your actions, or your being, right? Actions as in what you feel, what you think, etc., to the situation, to the specifics of the circumstance. Yes,
Yes.
that's it. It's that connecting the two together. Say, what do I want? What's the circumstance? What's the situation? And putting the two together, right? So that's it, and finding a way to satisfy your goals, intents, motivations, etc., to the circumstance, right? So in the
Exactly.
circumstance that you are now, you're a survivor, a post-trauma individual. The situation now is not traumatic.
No.
Your goals are what? To continue reliving your trauma, or to be happy and joyful and powerful and impeccable and deliberate. Those are your goals. What
Yes.
are they? The situation now is not one where you need to deal with some kind of trauma, right? You may in the future, yes, but still, right now, no. So when you respond to what is appropriate now, it changes. Of course, we want to also develop the ability to be appropriate in any circumstance, even if we're not currently experiencing it. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So and yes, sometimes to understand that. Look, if I were captured and some aliens come and they take me and put me in an alien prisoner of war camp and do whatever shit, well, there's nothing I can do about it. I'll just endure. I'll forbear. Yeah, that's all
Yep.
I can do. So sometimes I can't say, well, I'll be all angry and mad and blame and all. It is what it fucking is. That's it. It's too bad, and I just got to suffer through it, right?
Yep.
Um, maybe that's not all I can do. Maybe I can use intent to change the situation. Whatever. Who knows? You'll find something that if I can't imagine it, I will imagine it then under the pressure of needing to imagine some really way out solution, right?
Yes.
So yeah, we start on this first, and I love this slide too. It's very cool. We've been adding and building entries into our dictionaries of power. Essential to understanding why it is a dictionary of power is connecting the entries in it to our self-conception.
Yes.
Okay? And this is absolutely crucial to understand that your dictionary of power is not a standalone thing in itself. It is the foundation, the floor, the building stones, the root of your self-conception. It is what your self-conception comes from, right? So your
Hmm.
entire dictionary of power is what leads to, or what creates, as we might even say, our self-conception, right? Our self-conception is built from that. Yes. So
Yep.
they are all the bricks. The self-conception is the house or the palace or the castle, however you want to look at it, right? This
Mhm.
is It's very crucial to understand. And that's why I was saying I really like this slide here, right? You've got, this rock over here, and you're standing on it. That's you, and this is your dictionary of power that you're standing on.
I love it.
Yeah, it's very cool. Each item in the dictionary of power is also an entry and a building block of you. The power conceptions are you. The idea is not to make a substitute for memory and knowing, but to use the dictionary of power as an emphasis mechanism, as a brain tool. Yes. So
Oh, yeah, definitely.
this is
I could see it.
absolutely critical. We don't want to be memorizing the dictionary of power. No, that's not its function. It's a reminder, yes. Oh, I haven't been emphasizing, believing without believing as much as what I could do. Okay. Let me bring that back in again. And it's not as innate as I would have liked it, but we want to have this be innate. We want to have it be innate. It will come. It will
Yes.
come. I'm assuming. An entry of a power conception is not enough. Oh, an entry. Oh, we also want to add our definitions, understandings, extra additional meanings, and connections, and our personal take on the power conceptions. Through this process, we make all the power conceptions in our dictionary of power our own. All right.
Yes.
So yeah, I want to open up another thing here. Let's see, where is my glossary, which is my dictionary of power. All right. So yeah, I've got, core terms. This is something that I put together, and I've got key concepts, and you see how there's multiples here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my dictionary of power came about, well, at least when I put it here into the spreadsheet, in a little different way, right? Because it came from the blog, right? So you see, I've got each, you see, should, and
Mm-hmm.
there's the whole. So my extended understandings, instead of being in the squares, in this way, like in this type of a situation, yeah, you see where you've got the entry and then you've got the extended understanding, which is where I'd recommend, and you have synonyms. I've just got it as blog articles, right? And so anyway, so this gives an idea though of how you can, like in your article that you wrote there now, right? That you shared with me, yes. Take that and say, okay, what are the? Can you pull it up again, please? Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's go through it real quick from a dictionary of power perspective.
Second here. Nope. Oh, wrong. Oh, that's why. I was like, hold on, wait a minute. Where are we going with this?
Screen share first.
I will just give me a moment.
No
I
worries. No worries.
had to
Oh,
find it first.
I see. Yeah. No, take your time.
Okay.
Okay. So the gift in perspective shifting and healing. All right. So gift is in your dictionary of power. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So is perspective shifting. So you can
Yep.
add these as tags, right? So if you go to the bottom of your article, you can put the hashtag gift, hashtag perspective shifting. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. When you put a hashtag onto a hyphenated word, be sure to take out the hyphen. Otherwise, you're just going to get hashtag perspective. You with me?
Yeah.
Okay. So, as a hashtag, you could put generational cycles, but you don't necessarily want to put generational cycles into your dictionary of power. Yeah.
No, it's breaking
Yeah.
free for a minute.
Yeah. But still, either way, no, I'm just saying though, as a hashtag, hashtag generational cycles, people who are interested in generational cycles, this article will be good for them. But our point here is what do I want to put in my dictionary of power as things which change how I live? None of that does anything for me in my regular living. Yes, this falls under awareness, breaking free from generational cycle. It falls under perspective shifting and healing, right? So A
Mhm.
victim mindset is a consequence of being completely unaware, ignorant, and having the assumption of being helpless, believing it to be someone else's fault. Nothing in there for me that goes into Dictionary of Power. While growing up in an inappropriate environment, I didn't understand. Well, understanding, yes, capital U, you've already got understanding, right? Because you got it in the noun form in your Dictionary of Power, correct? Why the things that happened to me or my family members, comma, took place. Yeah. Or even why, as a young teen or an adult, I kept choosing inappropriate relationships. To find the answer, I must ask myself, comma, what is the gift in this? Comma after myself. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
We might as well edit this now a little bit too while I'm reading
Oh,
through
yeah.
it. Yeah, scroll up a bit, please.
Yeah.
There we go. The gift is in my perspective shifting, right? And you've already got a gift and perspective shifting in there on how I feel, think, and associate with those inappropriate interactions. I have a deeper understanding of how it all came to be, instead of repetitively thinking of myself and family as victims. I have a deeper understanding, yeah, instead of repetitively thinking of myself. Yeah. Typically, there'd be another thing of how you think after that, but that's okay. Thus, we are no longer victims, but warriors of a past that was set in our paths to learn from, to grow from, and to break free from. To grow from, comma.
Oh, I
Uh,
forgot that one.
no, it's not. It's not critical because you've got an and there, but it just helps your emphasis. And you want that to be, yeah, spirit warriors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dash. There you go. But spirit warriors of a past that was set in our paths to learn from, to grow from, and to break free from. The comma after grow from there, we'll get in a little bit of editing here. It's not for grammatical correctness, which I don't care about. It is for emphasis, because that's a
Yes.
dramatic statement, you see. So to grow from and to break from doesn't have as much gravitas, right? Drama, right?
Mm-hmm.
So generations of constant abuse, neglect, comma, and manipulation, the Oxford comma, are no longer, again, it's not necessary, but it's not abuse, neglect, and manipulation. It's abuse, neglect, and manipulation. See what I mean? Are
Mm-hmm.
no longer a part of our present and future as we work to break the continuous past cycle. Because we have come to understand and be aware. Yes, not a regular little awareness. This is a bigger deal awareness, right? Of
Mm-hmm.
our own true selves. And you've got true selves in your Dictionary of Power. Yes, this is a
Yes.
concept. And made the transition from being completely dependent on how others view us and wanting their acceptance in whatever way we could get it, to knowing, get it, comma, to viewing what we deserve according to our own definitions and understandings, giving ourselves validation, taking on different thoughts, actions, feelings, and owning them. Yes. So, owning, just this concept of owning is really cool, or making it our own. Either way, I would put
Mm-hmm.
both there, right? When
Nope.
we own our thoughts, actions, and feelings, we own our energy. Capital O.
Oh,
O.
yep.
Yeah, yeah. We own our energy. Once I have become aware of and understand this concept of perspective shifting and the gift in it, I cannot possibly go back to the victim mindset and think and feel like my thoughts, actions, and feelings, actions, comma.
Hold on. I was having issues. Okay. Actions.
No, thoughts, I think and feel like my thoughts, actions, and feelings. Little higher. There we go. A little higher. One more line up, left, left. Yeah, yeah. No, down one line and then left. Yeah. After
Oh,
action. My thoughts, actions, and feelings are the effect of how someone else treated me, comma, or how I was raised. You don't have to have it there, but it adds a little bit of drama, right? After the me, I mean, yeah. By
Yes.
living in that mindset, I was limiting my options, yes, solutions, and limiting my accessibility to the universe. Options, absolutely a entry in dictionary of power. Solutions, yes, maybe, but I prefer resolutions in my dictionary of power to solutions. Yeah.
Okay.
My options, solutions, and limiting my accessibility to the universe. Yeah, universe definitely goes in there too. I was choosing, yes, choice, capital C, choice, absolutely. Right? To be considered, I was choosing to be considered a victim. Yeah, in this case, it's actually little c choosing.
Oh, yeah, that's fun.
Right? Right? Makes sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was choosing to be considered a victim because it was a way to not assume responsibility for myself. Yeah. Yeah. I was choosing to be considered a victim, comma, because it was a way to not assume. Again, a comma inside the inverted commas
Yeah,
always.
that's what
Got
I
it
was
right.
trying to do, and I like messed it up.
That's all good.
All right, there
Because
we
it
go.
was a way to not assume responsibility for myself. Very powerful, very, very powerful. If I were to look death in the eyes and ask it, what would you say to me right in this moment to help me cross to the other side of that veil? I would imagine it saying something like this. You have quite a few years to live yet. However, when the time comes, make sure you have lived.
Oh,
You can say, make sure you lived, but have is a bit more power there. Have lived your life to the fullest. Learn, grow, live without regrets. Make amends with yourself. Shift how you perceive even the tiniest of moments. Finally, live a life with an open mind and heart. Live deliberately, impeccably, and appropriately. Absolutely brilliant. So you've got deliberateness or deliberate living, both, right? In your dictionary
mm-hmm.
power, impeccability, appropriateness, right? So again, note well that now we put, hey, voice, come on. the form, the form of the words, right? Instead of putting impeccably, we put impeccability because impeccability is the thing. Deliberateness is the thing. Appropriateness is the thing.
So live with. Oh,
No. Your sentence is perfectly good. I'm just simply saying
oh,
how we put it in the dictionary of power. We
oh
put
yeah,
the
impeccability.
impeccability, appropriateness, deliberateness. We put the noun form of it, the thing form of it, right? It may be a
Mm-hmm.
verb sometimes, but like deliberate living, it's a thing, but it's also a doing at the same time. So
Yep.
yeah, and perspective shifting, So wonderful, absolutely wonderful, very cool, very cool. Uh, It's really cool. This is a really nice takeaway and put together. I am also keen to see takeaways of the content directly. You know what I mean? But this is a it's a broader one, so it's very
Well, see, at the end with the tests and exercises, that's what I went by was like if you
Oh,
were
I
to
see. Oh,
choose
it
a
was for the
question,
okay, sorry.
yeah. And so that was one question that really stuck with me, the
Right.
one I really
Oh,
remembered. And that was because it's like if I were to speak with death,
yeah.
what would I imagine him, imagine it saying?
Yes.
And I'm
Good.
saying it because you never know, death could be a female, could be a male,
Oh,
doesn't matter.
yeah, I agree. I agree. I don't like to, I just don't want to say death is a female because I don't want to be sexist in that way.
Well, yeah, but
So
I
it's
could
a
see
it
I could see
thing.
that
So,
though. I mean, honestly,
yeah. Yeah.
there
So,
we're not right. No, I was joking. Um,
exactly.
I don't know. I just think, yeah, and I'd like when I put
Um,
it in my dictionary power, I'd use, living deliberately,
yeah,
um, or deliberate way of living.
yeah,
Um,
deliberate. Yeah.
yeah, even deliberately living. Also
Deliberate
impeccability.
living rather than deliberately living. Deliberate living as the entry.
Oh yeah, deliberate living is what I put.
Yeah.
And then I also switch it up of like, okay, um, see, like how I say, like the deliberate way of living or living deliberate, oh, living deliberate type of things. When I re-enter underneath, like, different things that pop up in my head that are key reminders for
Wonderful.
me. Um, and then I also do like, um, impeccability, way of impeccability.
Yes.
And then I write my own, conception of those. And
Excellent.
then,
Excellent.
that's how I go down with it.
Yes.
You know,
Yes. 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 Perfect. 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 And we get to the slide here now, which says this is crucial and vital, and the this being making it your own, right?
oh yeah.
This is crucial and vital. You want to keep adding to each power conception until it is thoroughly and plainly and clearly self-evidently sensible to you. So
Oh yeah.
this, as a to entry in the dictionary of power, is the entry is self-evident sensibilities as a thing. Each
Hmm.
entry into the dictionary of power, you want to be a self-evident sensibility. Yeah.
Yes.
And we want to strive for that self-evident sensibility, sensibleness of things, to get to that point where our power conceptions are self-evidently sensible. Because with a self-evident sensibility, there's no belief required.
Nope.
This this is profound. This is profound. No belief required, right? It's self-evident.
Yes.
It's a the. Once an entry is so obviously obvious to you that you don't have to even think about it anymore, then the awareness of the power conception alone is enough to be transformative. Let me read that again. Once an entry is so obviously obvious to you that you don't even have to think about it anymore, then the awareness of the power conception alone is enough to be transformative. Because we are deeply self honest, how can we not apply and live what is a self evident sensibility? We can't. You see why this is a power power conceptions, a dictionary of power.
Yep.
If it's self evidently sensible, how do you ignore it?
You can't.
Not possible. This
Nope.
is the magic of the dictionary of power. It works of its own accord because we are deeply self honest and we have
Yep.
a deeper desire to learn, grow, and improve. So, the dictionary of power is a very, very clever mechanism to leverage that self honesty. Yes, to say, and that desire to know. Because, well, how do I ignore it? All I need is to be aware of it. Once I'm aware of it and I've worked it out, and I've seen how exactly it's self-evidently sensible. It's no good. It appears self-evident, but yeah, I'm not so sure about this one. So, or Jessica, yeah, you put it in there, but I'm not so sure. I'm not buying it just yet. Right? If there's those doubts, you're not going to. It's not going to become you. That's why you've got to work through it, right out that extended understanding, figure out why. Oh, okay, yes. Ah, I see now. Yes, okay, I forgot about that. Yeah, I didn't think of this. Yeah, okay, all right, yeah, okay, I hear you now. Yes, yes, it is so. It's self-evidently sensible, right? And I get it now. Then it becomes yours. Then it becomes not just yours, but it becomes you. It's a
Yep.
difference, right? It's a difference in something becoming mine and becoming me. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I think I want to put that in as a quote underneath here. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that'd be amazing.
Yeah. Hey, what happened here now? Come on. It's Control I that I want to have, and Control B that I need to have to put them off. Becoming, yeah. So there we go. There's a difference between an awareness, discernment, or understanding, becoming up. Oh, why did you do that? I can't get inside this box yet. There we go. The other box is overlapping it. Becoming mine and becoming me. Yeah. Very cool. No, no. Some of these graphics, they have very large boxes to stretch them to that size. So then it makes it a little tricky to. There we go. Center it a little down. I know. Okay. Very cool. Very cool. Very cool. Very cool. Every entry in the Dictionary of Power is essentially a one conception philosophy. Yes?
Yes. Yep.
Now,
But it's always ever changing, ever growing.
exactly. Yes.
Just it really never stops because you always will end up finding more to
Exactly.
like that one conception.
Exactly. It's fluid, flexible, and
Yes.
adaptable. Any decent philosophy has to be fluid, flexible, and adaptable. Yes?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes. Yes. Yes. Yes. Actually, I think I might we're in adding quotes mode today. We'll put that in there too. Right?
Yes.
Oh, it was any decent, not every decent. Any decent philosophy. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. All right. Yeah. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. It's essential to understand that your dictionary of power is your self in progression. It's an intimately personal construction mechanism for the fleshing out of the real you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very cool understanding, right? That it is self in progression and it is the fleshing out of the real you. At some point, self in progression, which will always be there, and real you will start to shift in ratio.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, in the start, self in progression is the predominant portion, yeah, and real you is maybe smaller. But as you go along, the balance shifts, right? Self
Yep.
in progression becomes a bit smaller, and real you becomes a bit bigger. But it never goes away. Self in progression, yes,
No, 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 no.
it never goes away. So it's
No.
always there. But real you becomes at some point it's so large that self in progression. Yes, you are learning and growing, but I am enough, but I'm also more. Really becomes very, very potent. Yes. A very
Yes.
deep point that real you is self in progression, but also real you has very real abilities, understandings, awarenesses, and foundations to it, which is the Dictionary of Power. So real you is not built on learning, but on doing, on applying, on being. Yes.
Oh yeah. So
And
that really you
go ahead.
said you said something that really like reminded me of a conversation, short, not really short conversation. It was a response to a post that I made on Shares, one of Shares posts.
All right.
Um, it was the one about, video saying, I am enough, I'm enough, I'm enough.
Yes.
And I responded in there with, um, yes, you are enough, and also
And
more.
you're also more. Yes.
Yep.
Very, very, very critical to understand. Just this to say, I am enough. No, this is a sort of a modern age woo-woo type of a snowflake type of a thing to say,
Hmm.
excuse me for all my flaws. No, I don't. Sorry. You want to stop there? That's no good. Yeah. You want to get a pass for being crappy by saying, I'm enough and we're all enough as we are. Accept me as I am. Well, no, I don't. If you're crappy, sorry, you need to learn more. Don't
Yep.
accept that. So no, you've got to learn, you've got to grow, I mean, it's like we can say, well, babies, we all love babies, but none of us accept babies and being a baby when you're older.
No,
We love babies, but it's not appropriate to stay a baby. Right?
definitely not.
Yeah. I mean, you
If
know
that
what?
does happen, there are.
Exactly. But it's inappropriate thinking. It's nonsense, right? All
It's
right.
very much so nonsense.
We also must know and be aware that our dictionary of power is an ever ongoing progression and will never be static. Because, of course, when it comes to us as spirit warriors, especially, there is always more. Yeah,
Always.
yeah. And I think
Always
our
there's more. And
oh,
that's the thing is that that's what a lot of people not a lot of people, that's what some people tend to forget
yeah,
is that, once our dictionary of power becomes once we've made it our own, us, unique to us, unique to
yes,
our philosophy of living.
yes,
Um, you know, it it's always going to be there and it's always going to end up, popping up in your mind or what have you as a reminder of, hey, take a step back, pause, definitely see, you know, what you're doing at this moment in time.
yeah,
But it's also like there's ever changing things, there's ever changing, situations that, you know, will remind us also of our dictionary of power. It's not going to ever be like you
exactly.
said, static. Um,
Never. Yeah,
because once you make it yourself, like
yes,
make it you, then
yes.
it, I don't know, it becomes you.
Exactly. If ever there was a concept of a living document, it is your dictionary of power,
Hmm.
right? It's a living document. Yeah, because it's you, because it's you. All right. End session 3. Prepare your dictionary of power for sharing in a takeaway session. We'll go over the power conceptions themselves and delve into a few of them in detail. The aim here is to share so we can benefit from each other, leveraging the power of collaboration. It is also a self-proving, testing, checking, and verifying opportunity. All right, so let's go through your dictionary of power.
Okay. Um, I don't have it all finished, but I
No,
can.
there's never finished to it, so no worries.
No, I mean, like I have more words that I'm putting, more
Oh,
conceptions that I'm putting in. But the ones right now that I'm mainly focusing on, um, is uh living with impeccability, living deliberately, as well as capital T trust, and
yeah,
um the other one is living with appropriateness.
yes,
Um
Yes.
And reason being right now, those are very important to me is because they all stem around also my energy management. And
Exactly. Exactly.
I,
So put
you
energy
know,
management into your dictionary of power. It's a very powerful
yes,
concept.
energy management is definitely my dictionary power. However, the biggest thing, okay, so living impeccably, um, do I fully understand it? No, I don't. However, my own understanding so far of living impeccably is to
Yeah.
live with intent, live with deliberateness, and to be self-honest and, you know, to trust myself, but also to put trust into the universe that it knows what it's doing.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
putting that blind trust into it, and reason being is because, you know, um, it's it's kind of like trusting, like your dog trusting you.
Yeah.
You know, they're putting blind trust in you, knowing, you know, with the um conception that or perception that, you know, you will take care of them, you will feed them, you'll make sure that they, you know, are okay. And that they do learn the lessons that they need to learn. Um, so when you're put like just like when you're putting your, I guess, yourself and your trust in the universe, you're
Yeah.
trusting that it's going to lead you where you need to go.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
up to us whether or not we want to um you know, change certain things to create it, you know, our own outcome that we desire. um I don't know, to me it's just like
Right.
living impeccably is a huge one for me, because to me it goes down when I think of impeccability. I think of, you know, um, deliberately doing things and doing things in the appropriate amount or appropriate way. Um, and so to me, that's my foundation is,
Yeah.
you know, impeccability, because that also goes hand in hand with deliberateness
Exactly.
and trust and
Yes.
self-honesty. And, you know, I got to also have more humility with myself. That's another one that I'm focusing on too.
Brilliant. 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 So let's get into impeccability, your entry out of impeccability, and some definitions for impeccability.
So my entry for impeccability is, I lost you. So can you hear me? I can't hear you.
While that rejoins, I'll just use the other mic. All right.
Oh, you're fine.
So the core definition of impeccability is best use of energy. Right?
Yes,
And of course,
that
best
is my core definition.
right. It's subjective. It is based on appropriateness, etc. Secondly, second definition, not that they're in an order, but still, just because it's also short, is giving due, emphasize due respect to everything. But the key is that due. It's underlined, starred, italics, bold, giving due respect to everything. Yeah? That makes all the difference. Not just giving respect blindly to everything. Oh no, it's giving due respect. Yes, this is
Yes.
very important. Very important. So there's definitely a range of how much you give respect to things. Yes.
Yes. And that's the thing too, because it's always ever changing. But with way of impeccability or with impeccability in itself, um, as I was thinking about how that would be my foundation, I'm actually reconsidering it. Because the foundation for me would be appropriateness. Because without appropriateness, I cannot do, live with impeccability. I cannot live with, um, being, deliberately or even just being, you know what I mean? Deliberately just being.
Nothing happens without that. Exactly. So we could say due is another way of saying appropriate, right? In this,
Yes.
right? So, but still, the reason why it's due rather than appropriate is because respect has a measure of being earned, not it's commanded, not demanded. And typically, people want to demand respect. No, no. You might say, yes, it might be appropriate for me to respect you, but you haven't earned it. You're not due it yet, so you don't get any just yet, or you only get a little. So there is a grade in here to have our respect be uh, connected to what others are doing in order to earn that. Yeah. So this is just helps for the understanding. But certainly, if you want to say giving appropriate respect, you can, but giving due respect as a nice ring to it. No.
It
Yeah.
does have a nice ring to it.
Right. So all right. Then we get next under impeccability. It
For
is
me, it's deliberately or living with deliberateness.
right.
Um,
But oh, okay. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
that's what's next underneath mine.
Oh.
Um,
But I want to add in there also as entry. It is impeccability is being uh, thorough, scrupulous, diligent, and conscientious.
okay. Oh, I should
Yeah, yeah,
pull you up here and bring you.
yeah.
There
So
we go.
thorough.
Yeah. Well, that was weird. But anyways,
Oh, good. Oh, good. I would recommend something for you, by the way, just as a habit practice.
hmm?
Same way as we practice our sentences. Practice never apologizing.
Okay.
Just give it up. Just give it up. Give it up.
I will definitely. Sorry, that was an awful truth. Made me feel really uncomfortable because you brought it up. But yeah, no, I definitely.
A sweet and beautiful person. Really, really, it's quite magical. All right. So being thorough, scrupulous, diligent, and conscientious. Or you could say we do our homework, we do our due diligence, we do the research. Yes, I mean those can be,
Yes.
but it's just a nice way of encapsulating, right? So this is giving due respect to our ignorance. To say, "Oh, I better be thorough, right? I better be scrupulous." In other words, no funny business, no cutting corners. I need to be diligent. I need to be conscientious. My conscience has to be satisfied. Yes. Conscientious
Hmm.
also means diligent and scrupulous, right? It's the combination and thorough, right? It's all of them together. So this is very powerful because if my impeccability is based on just, well, you know, like, okay, I'm going to go by the first thing that comes into my head that I believe is good. And it's not really thought through. Well, now, that's what thorough is, thinking it through to the end. Yes. Diligent is
Yes.
to that, not giving up on it. So this is really, really huge for our impeccability. It's absolutely crucial. And then for me, obviously, yes, living deliberately. But the deliberate living is sort of its own category. It's not necessarily
part of being impeccable. It's like an extra added on there, but it's nice that you have it in there as part of it too. It's very cool. All right, so then, and I would say not necessarily finally, but this is very important. Impeccability is doing what is right according to us, according to our own conscience. Right? So we are, and that's what being righteous means, yes, is to do right. But it is doing right according to us, to our own conscience. See definition, preceding definition. Yes, right. So when I'm saying I'm doing right according to my conscience, well, I'm a serial killer and my conscience says it's okay. Yes, but you're not an impeccable serial killer, so you weren't thorough and scrupulous and diligent and conscientious in assessing this action, right?
Yes.
So when you think it through and when you're really thorough about this idea of yours, it collapses, of course. Yes.
Yep.
So, I think theoretically, by the way, I think it is possible to be an impeccable serial.
I mean,
if you truly feel that you are being, guided by the universe to be this predator, to bring, awareness to the world, who knows? But it's a very steep price you're going to pay for it. And the price is not best use of energy, if you ask me. But theoretically, that's what I'm saying. Theoretically, yeah, very hard choice. Very hard
yeah.
to cause pain and misery. Anyhow,
Yes, I guess I don't know. I'm when it goes on the topic of like, um, the serial killers and how they're doing, how they would think in their minds that, that it's the right thing to do.
I never did that.
I don't know. I still try to wrap my head around like how I could understand that.
Yeah, there's a lot of research, and you can look it up. Interviews with serial killers, it's fairly well documented, right? It's a big field of study, and it's actually quite worthwhile watching some of it. It is appalling, the lack of impeccability, the arrogance, the self-importance, and the unawareness, especially. I remember Jeffrey Dahmer saying, when the guy came, the young guy who came to his apartment, and he thought they were going to have sex or whatever, and then he just murdered him, and it was like, kind of just felt like it. It was just like a nothing to it. It was, he might as well have been saying, well, you know what, we were going to have eggs, and then I decided I want cereal. Just like I changed my mind, kind of a thing, and he was sort of inconvenient, and then I just got rid of him. Just the mindlessness of it, the bubbleness of it, appalling, absolutely horrifyingly appalling.
Oh yeah.
How little there was to it. Just the pettiness of it, the triviality. In other words, the unbelievable preposterousness of it, really, which is why understanding preposterousness, in the book, is so critical, is so essential. We cannot understand preposterousness. We cannot understand so much in the world. It is truly, truly an incredible skill.
It is.
Brilliant. How's Natalie, by the way?
She's good. She, wanted to try it after she's, watches a little girl that her nickname's Woogie. In March, she was gonna try and get a job, and I told her, I was like, nope, I think, you need to take this time to work on yourself and to take care of you. And, I'll work and stuff like that, pay the bills. But I think that it's just, she just needed more time than just a few weeks to take care of her so she can get back on track.
I thought she was working.
No, she's no longer working. Yeah, well, just the last Kawasaki really did her wrong. It was just like they did me. Uh, they pointed her out because they didn't bother to and take points off that were supposed to be taken off of her thing. So she ended up pointing out, and it was really messed up. Like she was supposed to like yeah, she shouldn't have been pointed out, but um
They made an example of her, in other words. Yeah.
yeah, but they did the same thing to me when I ended up in the hospital. They literally pointed me out because they didn't know when I was coming back.
Oh,
It was yeah, it's all ridiculous. But
well, good. Maybe we'll see Natalie on Zoom then.
hopefully at some point,
Yeah.
some point soon. But she's slowly getting better. She has been going longer without drinking.
Oh,
Um and you know, she's gone through a few days that um and didn't even drink that were really especially hard for her. Um and I'm very proud of her for that because she's facing like I made a recommendation to her to talk to those that had passed, this month that have just talk to them. Tell them you're okay, but you've got to let their soul rest if you don't let yourself be at peace. Or their soul to be at peace, you know what I mean? So she started doing some of that, and I said, you don't even have to do it out loud. You can do it in your head. You can do it in the shower. You know what I mean? Like you could do it when I'm not home. Um, so she's been doing that, and it's been helping her. And then also, like, um, we have a new family member now on Natalie's side. His name's Ronan. He's such an adorable baby. But that happened on the same day that, like, I believe it was your grandma, right?
What about my grandma?
It happened on the same day or day before your grandma passed.
Same day.
So the birth of this child happened on the same day that Natalie's grandma had passed. And she was like, a good thing happened on a bad day. I said, no, a good thing happened today. You know, like I lost you again.
life is continuous.
Okay.
It's not broken. Continuous.
Mm-hmm.
Don't see how it continues. Also, on just a perspective shifting exercise. I'm not saying it is so, but just to bring in alternative perspective that we don't always consider. Right. So when you look at things from the other side, it's all or other sides plural. It's always very instructive. For instance, looking at Natalie and her work. If I'm an employer
Back in April.
and somebody's, I can see it. Doesn't matter if they do
But
a job or not. If they drink and get a problem, I know it. Now, if I see that this is an issue for them,
she will be before
I
we
know
move back.
at some point, likely, this is going to cause a problem in the job.
She's
But
getting
do
fixed
I then
on
wait until it causes
March
the
20th.
problem, or do I be
I was
proactive
wondering,
to prevent the problem?
she's
This is a
been around other cats, she's been around the small dogs, she's
because
been around the big dog a
you know,
couple of
I,
times. She's done with
I'm going
this.
to essentially fire somebody for something that might happen. But also, I'm saying, but again, I have to think of other people. It's a factory, there's lives at stake. So, yeah, it's a very tricky ethical decision. But this may have been why the unfairness, other stuff was there. Okay, I've got an excuse to do it. I don't really, I'm still stretching it a bit, but all right, at least I can do this because it's best for everybody in the long
Yeah, but see, this is the thing is the Kawasaki is not, I mean, they're not owned by Americans. They're literally owned by Japan. But the biggest thing
run.
is that like
Not
where they did not she was okay, so she was supposed to only have had, I think it was like 4 points. Um by the time they pointed her out. Um, in she also always did her job correctly. She was very efficient, very fast with it. The other thing is that I know how Kawasaki works. I know how they operate, and they're very kind of shady with that, and they don't really like do much of like caring for their employees. Um, they that's the biggest problem. But also they even admitted to her that she was supposed to only have a few points, but they weren't going to update the system, so they let her go.
Interesting. Anyway, I wasn't saying that what I was saying was accurate. I'm simply saying that there's sometimes other explanations. And
Oh yeah.
if you look at this to say, okay, well, it wasn't Kawasaki, but the universe, because when you were in the space and Natalie was working, remember there was a time when you were feeling guilty about Natalie working, and now the thing is flip flop. So this is very magical, no? And also it gives Natalie time to work on this, on her stuff, which is also necessarily important. Right?
Yes, well, especially since February is like the hardest month for her. With her uncle passing this month, one of them is one of her dad's brothers. And then, her grandma, and then, it would all like was basically very close to her birthday, which is the 28th. And
Her birthday's on the 28th.
yeah, yep. But and that's the thing is like I told her, I was like, I don't want this month to continue to be an issue for you. Like, I don't want this to happen every single month. I need you to make peace, and I need you to find peace within yourself. I can't do it for you. This is something you have to do. I can give you suggestions, tools, whatever you need, but I told her, I was like, I really, really like, um, like you to talk to Sil, have some sessions with him. She goes, well, I just don't do those. She goes, I can't, the only problem is I can't do those repeat backs and takeaways.
Well, she don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. And why does she?
Yeah, and that's the thing is that like,
But anyway, she can just come and chat. We can just come and chat about what's important to her, what matters to her. That's all. That's all I want.
yeah, and I told her that too, and she goes, well, I'll think about it. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm still working on it still, so don't don't think I'm definitely not.
She's got some mis idea of things. If she's worried about feedbacks and takeaways, because to do repeat backs and takeaways, you have to go through the course material, and you're doing it repeat backs and takeaways of that. It's not just of anything. So
Yeah, and that's what I told her. I was like, but she sees what I do, and so that's what she associates it with. And I'm like, no, babe, that's not what you have to do. Like, even if it's just to talk, even if it's just to get stuff off your mind, even if it's gaining a new perspective of something, how to deal with something, things like that. I'm like, he's an amazing person to talk to. Like,
and just getting to know her. Just tell her that her coming on Zoom, think of it as a service to you.
yeah.
In this that me getting to know her helps me when it comes to interacting with you.
Yes, definitely. I definitely do see that and can understand that as well. I think, I just
But tell her that
I don't know.
now she's doing it as in service to you, which
Yeah,
I'm helping you.
I did say something and I don't remember if I was like super blunt about it, but I did let her know that in a sense that I don't want to be holding her hand through everything. I need her to make the effort to make the appropriate changes so she can grow with me.
Exactly. You cannot do it for her. All right. So in changing habits, like drinking especially, or
Oh
any
yeah.
habit of that nature, which is a very deep habit, the key is to focus on the
Okay.
changes. Whether they and to focus on small changes, not to go from 0 to 100, cold turkey, in other words. That's very difficult. But to say, I am drinking less than I was every day.
She is. And I tell her
Say,
that.
but tell her to say this as I'm not a fan of affirmations except when they are appropriate
Alright, you got mine,
actions
so.
like this. To
That would be
emphasize.
more so of a not as much of an affirmation to me as more so it's a mantra. Like I am drinking.
Exactly. But it is a emphasis. That's what it
Mm,
really is. It is an emphasis of your change and your progression, right? I'm drinking less. Oh yes, I am. You know what? I'm drinking less and less. You know what? Drinking is not so much of an issue anymore. You know what? I don't really need to drink the way I used to. And this your brain, because your brain wants to make things true, it says yes, that's true, and truth focuses on truth, and it emphasizes the truth, and then it becomes more and more so, and at some point you say, you know what, I really don't need to drink anymore.
yep. Well, and that's the thing is that's why on the days that like were the anniversary days of deaths of family members that she was really close to. Um, I did ask her, please don't drink on those days. I don't want you running. I want you to face it and I want you to feel it and I want you to let yourself grieve it. Because she
Now
never
what?
had.
Okay, so what we can do, Natalie and I, is on focus on, we can do the little transition course that I have. It's a small course, not very big, 2 or 3 modules. It's called Transition Through Change. It's essentially grief counseling, but it's for any transition, whether it be well, she's got 2 transitions. When you're transitioning from one job to another, one relationship to another, and transition obviously as in death, right? So it deals with all of those. We can do that together. Yeah, I'll show you.
Definitely.
Yeah.
What was the answer?
The answer to what?
Oh, Natalie.
Oh.
Yes,
She will?
yes, you will.
Sweet. Now I don't have to worry about a big dog killing her.
Uh-huh. Yes, I can hear you.
Oh yeah, I
I haven't
didn't
looked at
hear
that
me.
for a while. Yeah. All right. I didn't see the chat before that. There we go. See, dealing with death, shifting, and transition through change. Yeah.
Hey babe,
Yeah.
Model.
mirror real quick. Okay. So I'm gonna turn this up still so you can speak
Yeah.
to her. Natalie's here.
Right. So Natalie, this is something that I'm very keen. I would really enjoy doing with you. It's a mini program called Transition Through Change. Only 3 modules, and dealing with death, shifting, and then transition through change. That's the introduction, and then this is module 1, module 2. So it's about transitioning rather than dealing with, like, so for instance, breakups. Let's not call it a breakup. Let's call it a transition. Yes, okay, it's the same thing. But a breakup, when you start to say, how can I transition rather than breaking up? You start to change your mindset, your attitudes, your beliefs, and stuff like that. So this would be really fun because from what Jessica says, dealing with transition and change has pressed on you a little bit. Yes. So
Yeah.
some different perspectives on transitioning would be quite helpful and handy. And this is very fun. This is a really cool thing to do because when we really, deal with this, it shifts us. It's a shift of mindset, a shift of understanding, and it changes our whole lives. Because now instead of struggling with change, we transition rather, right? And it's transitioning through change, but it's also transitioning through change, through changing in yourself. So it's got a double meaning to change there. It's very cool. Very cool. And you're exactly in the ideal position to do this. and it will be fun. And like I was saying to Jessica a moment ago, the reason I'm keen to get on Zoom with you is because just to get to know you a little bit more. Why? Because it helps me to know Jessica more, and it helps me to be more appropriate in dealing and interacting with Jessica, right? Because you are such a big part of Jessica. Note well my words.
Okay.
They weren't idly chosen. I didn't say you're a big part of Jessica's life. I said you're a big part of Jessica. Right?
Yeah.
There's a difference. There's a difference. Yeah. And I assume Jessica's a big part of you. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Definitely.
us doing, coming on Zoom and going through that, we'll connect a little bit. I'm keen to connect and know you a little bit because, like I say, it helps me with Jessica.
Also, can you confirm that she does not have to do repeat backs and takeaways?
Oh no, you don't have to. Not an issue. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about
You're wearing my hat.
I'm wearing my hat.
You got one too?
Yeah.
it. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. What was I saying 2 seconds ago about Natalie being a part of Jessica and Jessica being a part of Natalie? Therefore, that hat is not Jessica's or Natalie's. It is our hat. Thank you.
Yes, that actually goes a lot with our hoodie, with the hoodies, and
There you
you
go.
know,
So,
it's
so I'm wearing our hat.
ours
Thank you
now.
very much. Yeah. Problem solved, right? Problem solved.
Always.
There you go. Wonderful. Wonderful. All right, brilliant. Whenever you want to, Natalie, you just let me know.
Okay, sounds good.
Brilliant. I like that. I like that vigor in Natalie's. Natalie's got a lot of power. Does Natalie know
It
she's
does.
got a lot of power?
I don't think she
I can hear it.
accepts it.
I can hear it. I can hear it in there. Yeah, there's strength in Natalie.
Oh yeah, she does. She does have a lot of power, and if I never used to, or I used to think that I would never find my match. I'd never meet my match, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And hey, can you grab me something to drink?
Please.
Yeah.
Please.
Please,
Hey, Neb,
please, and thank you.
there you go. I have to scold you. Oh, really? I'm exaggerating a little bit.
But no, like I definitely have with her. And it's I don't know, it's nice. It's good. I
Thank you,
love it
Natalie.
because she matches my energy. I don't feel like I have to run.
Yeah. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
So, I mean, I used to always hold on to this backpack constantly.
The one called
Um,
Linus?
no, but it was just, I don't know, but
She's
it
making
was,
a joke there.
I know, I was like trying to wrap my head around that one, but no, they had everything from like deodorant and toothpaste, like all kinds of stuff, even clothes. And it was like my running bag, and I took it everywhere with me, everywhere in the house, everywhere I went, it was with me, and it had everything in it. It even had an extra set of meds in there.
Wow.
Oh yeah, I had everything I needed. And so like that, I was always in this constant state of running, even when I was in other relationships. Now my bag has pens, notebooks. I put like my drinks or food in there when I take it to work. Has like chapstick in there. And so that has a lot to do with also feeling safe in my relationship, feeling very comfortable in my relationship. And I don't feel the need to run. I'm not scared.
Right. So there's
So speaking of power,
yes.
that's the type of power she has. That to me is absolutely
Wow.
like crazy amazing. And even like when I was going through chemotherapy and stuff like that, I was at like a soccer game with my ex best friend, and it was super hot outside, and like there was a stand, but they only accepted cash, not card. And so I was talking to Natalie about it. I'm like, man, yeah, I'm just really thirsty. It'd be really great to be able to get that, but I don't have any cash on me, so it's all good. It's not a big problem. And next thing I know, she's bringing me Gatorade, clear out in the middle of nowhere, to these soccer fields. And she brought me Gatorade. And to me, that was the first initial, like, oh my God, like this woman,
Oh, excuse me.
you know what I mean? She's been different from the get-go.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Wonderful.
I
Wonderful.
don't know. It just that's the type of power she holds, though.
I would recommend you write a little article about your backpack called Linus and how it's no longer called Linus.
Yeah.
Because that backpack is a symbol of you changing as a person.
Yep.
Like you said, my backpack was set up for running. And now I find I'm in a relationship, and this is how I know, because my backpack is no longer set up for running. It's set up for living, for being, for exploring, for moreness,
Yes.
for togetherness. Wonderful, wonderful little story. Just it makes a key point, and it's for you. The point of writing it is for your own emphasis. Yeah, it's very cool. Very cool
Yes.
point to write out. Very cool point to write out. Very cool point to write. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Very, very exciting. Very, very, very cool indeed. Wonderful.
No, I didn't want that.
Yeah.
I think your daughter's in Cleveland. Wow.
I wrote that in my notes because yeah, I
Yeah.
have to go through a bunch just to not know. To go
Um,
through a bunch just
yeah. Yeah. All right. So
to get to
for next time, I am very keen for
Oh,
you
yeah,
to
there's
go to the next module, the next session, which will be module 3, session 4.
Mm-hmm.
plus somebody
And
down
it is
trying to trap
I
them.
think it's called the Life Detective and Trust, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
So on this one, I want you to do the preemptive repeat backs and takeaways. What Natalie sees you doing is the tasks and exercises, which is not quite the same thing, right?
I have no idea.
So what I'm after is, okay, I'll give you an example here, right? So and I'm going to do it in the transition through change, so we can get an idea, because this is really a grief counseling course, right? So
Mhm.
the next step can only come about once the present step is completed. The next step needs the complete information of the current step in order to fully formulate. That's why a slight pause or in between time is needed when transitioning from one step to another.
Nailed it.
And this is a huge point.
It is.
I cannot emphasize what a deep understanding and awareness this is. At this point that we need to finish the present step before the next step can come. We need to complete it.
Yes.
It needs that full information for the second step to formulate. The second step is dependent on the completion of the first step, not part.
Yep.
So it's a very big one. So now a repeat back of this would be, well, I was kind of doing it then. Yes, I was saying the same thing in a different way. It's repeat back, right? When I said, I do it naturally, I do it automatically, right? Just by my takeaway from this is, oh, what do I take away from this? Oh, I need to not be in such a hurry to get to the next step. That's my takeaway for me, right? That I've got to wait until that step is finished and make sure it is finished before I go. But typically we are so looking at I see a dozen steps and I'm looking to progress. And no, it's about the step now that needs to be completed, not about the next step. Right? The next step will take care of itself automatically when this one's done. Right? But it cannot happen until I'm finished. So you see, I'm doing repeat backs and takeaways. And just I'm so in the habit of it, I don't. It's not even like specific and deliberate, right? So,
Yeah.
but I want to go through this with you because we've got a bit of time here now, right? So, what do we mean by transition? Uh, it's simply to transition the past itself into something else. What did you start off with today? In your post, your article, right? You were
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about having transitioned from the past.
Yes.
You transitioned from being a victim to being a spirit warrior. You transitioned
Yes.
out of being that victim mindset and blaming everybody, holding them responsible, etc. Right? You've transitioned.
Yes.
Have a break. It's not like, okay, I've survived. No, you've transitioned. A transition implies a smooth movement. Yes. The transition applies to the relationship, whether it's a person, occurrence, or the past. We're transitioning how we relate to something in the now. Isn't that exactly what you were doing? You were
Yes.
transitioning, right? How you related to bad people in your lives, yes,
Yep.
right? In the now, transitioning
Yes.
is a deliberate shifting, right? And here, deliberate shifting, right? We've got perspective shifting and we've got deliberate living, but we've also got deliberate shifting
Deliberate shifting.
of our relationship, right? So you had a particular relationship with the people who did horrible things to you, and you
Yeah.
made a deliberate shift to that relationship, shifting to that relationship, correct? That's transition.
Hmm.
It's transitioning, yes? Right. The
Yes.
idea is what we are transitioning changes instead of being cut off, severed, denied, or in any way being some kind of relationship where we don't choose the nature of the relationship ourselves. And this is very important, right? The idea is what
Yes.
we are transitioning changes, right? That those people who did things to you, your relationship with them has changed. You didn't cut it off like you forget about them, ignore them, and pretend they didn't exist. No, you changed it to seeing
Yep.
them as the
Yep.
victims of unawareness.
Whether it be a victim, victims of unawareness, victims of themselves.
Exactly. And and you also transition them from being responsible for you to you being responsible for you. See the shifts there.
Yep.
So
Exactly.
transitioning is this change that has some sort of movement to it. It's not this abrupt thing, right? It's not cut off, severed, denied, or any other nonsense like that, right? And
Oh
then
no.
we change, where we choose the nature of the relationship ourselves, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So that's what you want, and you now, the one who is choosing your relationship with your past, with the people in your past, yes, and the present
Yes.
and the future, of course, also. But you've transitioned
Oh,
those people from being responsible to not being responsible. Very powerful transition, no? Very huge.
it is very, very powerful.
Why transition or transitioning? Because we're doing so not as a sudden harsh break, but a peaceful, gentle, loving, sensible change over a bit of time. Now, note well
Yep.
here, note well here, and I'm saying this so, just to see where we're going to go with this. Note well here, look at this from a strategic point of view and the capital D diplomacy involved.
Yes.
This whole program, right? The bigness of it, it's a grief counseling program fundamentally, yes. Whether it be grief
Yes.
over your lost job, grief over your lost relationship, or grief over somebody who's died, right? But I'm coming at it very delicately. This sentence here now, right? This one, because we're doing so not as a sudden harsh break, but as a peaceful, gentle, loving, sensible change over a bit of time. I'm setting the stage for module 2, right? Module 1 is kind of general relationships. Module 2 is about death. Yeah. So we're gonna get there, but I'm setting the stage. See what I mean? So just to
Yeah.
kind of say a little bit here to look at this from a bigger picture point of view. It's not gradual as it's deliberate, but it's not sudden and immediate either. That transition implies a move over time, and that's what we are after: a change of being, change of relationship, change of perspective. Right? The transition means we have changed how we perceive matters. We've changed how we perceive others, relate to them, understand them, and now integrate and live our past. We've transitioned into a different space of being. This is what your article was about, no?
Yeah.
Transition, transition, transition. Thus, to transition our past is to completely perspective shift on it, to totally reframe it in the way we want, and to relate to it from the perspective and overview understanding of the more involved. Thus, we transition to where we see our past somewhat as a gift instead of the way we had seen things then, because that was only a partial view. We transition to a full and complete view, one of our own choosing. We deliberately extract the good, the lessons, the realizations of our own goodness and mourners, regardless of how exactly we applied ourselves then, and we focus on what our past proves to us about ourselves as a mourners. We transition into the power of our real self. This is exactly what your article was doing, right?
Yep.
Your article is about the transition of Jessica. Yes.
Yes.
Very, very powerful. So again, a repeat back is just to take this and to say it in your own words, right?
Yeah.
In whatever way that is, and then to say, what do I take away from this? Well, what I take away from this is that, man, I've been doing this. I didn't even realize that I was doing it. At least not with this concept applied to it. But now, oh yeah, well, this is what I've been doing. I've been transitioning. I am transitioning.
Yes.
It is really powerful. So this is a very powerful takeaway that you have this proof. Now somebody else might get a different takeaway from that, right? Takeaways
Mm-hmm.
may have multiple takeaways. Typically they are, right? Transition is how we make peace with the past, make peace with change. Exactly what you did do, right?
Oh, really?
There's much to transition. Now, again, to say transition
Oh.
is how we make peace with the past. I might say that as a repeat back to say transition is how I own the past.
I'll call you tomorrow or send you a message tomorrow.
Another way of saying making peace.
Yep.
Much to transition, and we'll go through all the various factors involved. Essential to this process is to do the course as intended, to do the repeat backs and takeaways in detail and in full. I'm just laughing because we're naturally coming on this. I don't know why she's so hung up on this, but on a side by side.
Because she doesn't feel that she's smart enough to do it. No, like Bevy, it's not about intelligence. It's
No.
about your own self-awareness.
Yeah.
But
Now,
we'll get there.
please. All right. So if this comes up, Natalie, you don't need to do it. But secondly, to do something badly and to be able to do something badly is a profound skill.
Mhm.
Right? So I would be very happy to see you to do it badly, if that's the case, because this is an ability that is essential to learning and change. If we can't do
Yes.
things badly, we're never going to really learn and grow. We're always going to be stuck in not doing. And in order to learn and grow and change, we have to apply.
And that's the thing.
Always
Is that
doing it badly. Yeah.
yes, and that's the thing is like I could always also, um gives, recommendations or on how to, put something or what have you,
Oh, you can do it
by
together.
getting, yeah, and just basically, um, giving her ideas, things like that,
Exactly.
on how
But
to,
still, let her just do it on her own for a bit and see how it works. I don't think it's the actuality; it's the idea. In reality, if she were to do a repeat back once she knows what it actually is, it's like, come on,
Yeah.
no, it's a lot easier than you think. Okay, so the contents, module 1, shifting. acknowledgement of reality, acceptance of alternate possibilities, which is what you did. You acknowledged the reality of your past. You accepted alternate possibilities, correct? You didn't get stuck in saying that's the only way it is. They're responsible, they to blame, right? They said, no,
No,
there's
no.
other ways. It can be a gift. That was a major shift of alternate possibilities. Attention to precise language. I cannot emphasize this enough. Let's be precise in the language. Honoring the past. Isn't that exactly what you did?
Yep.
You paid attention to precise language, honoring the past. You are a poster child for transition right here, right? Okay.
Thank you.
Dealing with death, common practices, new conceptions, energy attachments, new connections, gift of generosity. Now this is very powerful. Right? This is
Yep.
really, really powerful stuff. You'll see when we get to it. It's very powerful. It seems incomprehensible. Anyone could be afraid of ideas. And yet, this is sadly so. Natalie.
Mhm.
Yeah. Natalie, this is talking to you, being afraid of the idea of the repeat act. Just an idea.
Yep.
I'll scold her in absentia. Wonderful, 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 wonderful. All right. This is very exciting. Sorry. Oh, okay. Hello, Bina. Hello, Bina. So let's say hello. There we go. All right. All right. Very. All right. So this is cool. I'm looking forward to doing this with Natalie. But again, I'll go over this introduction with her again. But you see
Yeah.
the power of it, because it's
Oh
what
yeah.
you are doing. But we are going to apply it more specifically. Obviously, this all of way of impeccability is transition from old self
Mhm.
to new self, right? Transition from living willy-nilly and haphazardly. That's a better word, to living haphazardly. Isn't that how you used to live in the past, haphazardly?
Oh yes. And how
Undeliberate.
exhausting it really was.
Exactly. It's not only exhausting, it's ineffective, it's inefficient, it's unstrategic, it's a chaos, it's a mess. It's like, fuck, what was I thinking, Seriously, telling me, no, haphazard living, no, it's no good. It's no good. It's no good. But you transitioning from haphazard living to deliberate. What a
Yep.
profound thing. What a profound thing. But this is, like I said, we're already doing this, as you now see, right? But we're coming
Yeah.
at this transition from the death, the grief counseling. We're coming at it very gently, right? We're coming at it
Oh
very,
yeah.
very gently, very delicately, so that by the time we get there, because in that last module, there's some radical shifts of perception that is very powerful stuff. It's very, very cool. To really, in the end, you really end up thinking about death very differently. But we have to ease into it. We have to ease into it. You can't just go directly there. That's fun. You'll see. You'll see when Natalie goes through it. It's powerful.
Yeah.
Very good.
See, and I started to, you know, well, actually, I guess pretty much would be a while ago. When I started to just view death differently and not as something that was tragic. And I honestly don't remember like what had caused it to happen. It was after my dad died, but um I guess it was one of those things like I started to view it as not something scary, but something that like gives our own body that reprieve from fighting and soul is preserves your soul's humanity, if that makes sense. Um I don't know. I it's not tragic, it's a relief. Knowing that that person is no longer in pain or, you know, um that their body is no longer trying to fight or their soul's no longer trying to fight to stay. It's just kind of releases itself from its confines, if that makes sense, for, other things, more of more things type of thing. So I don't know. I guess this is how I view it. I view it as like, hey, at least that I would much rather them not be here than to continue to watch them struggle and fight and, you know. So yeah, I guess that's how I become. I guess why that's why I thought about the whole concept of like, becoming numb. I'm not necessarily numb to it. I'm more so accepting of it, accepting that that's, that's the way it is, and
Yeah.
honoring the past. In other words, honoring the moments you had with them.
Yeah. I mean, I'm keen to do the full transition with you then as well, considering your perspective with Larry. But I'm a little reluctant to do it before Natalie's done it.
I want to do it after Natalie's done.
You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I want this to be something that is hers a little bit.
Yeah. No, and I was just sharing like something that I, realized is that, it wasn't me being numb. It was more so like talking to like um get a different perspective on, from myself on, the whole situation. And so I was answering my own questions, if that makes sense, but they weren't really questions. They were more like statements, but I was still answering them.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was just, I would rather Natalie do it first because
Absolutely.
it's imperative.
Absolutely. I mean, and I want it to be something that she has.
Yeah, this is a her thing, and I don't ever want to be involved, with a her thing.
Yeah.
Because that's not going to do any good, because one of my awful truths that I'm working on releasing is taking over and doing things for other people.
Very important. Very important. Very
Yes.
important.
That's why I don't want to be involved with it in that, way or anything else like that. Because I don't want to misguide her. I don't want to, I don't want to steer her away from her own thoughts, feelings, So
Yeah.
I don't want hers to become mine or mine to become hers. I want hers to be hers and mine to be mine.
Yeah, exactly. And then, over time, those two will close together.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's very cool.
I've been working on, reminding her of, things that I do notice that she's doing and, acknowledging them. And she doesn't ask for any sort of acknowledgement, but I still want to remind her, like, on my own thing, on my own accord, that, hey, I noticed that you haven't done this, or hey, I noticed.
Wonderful. Very cool. Very cool. And we have.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Matthew.
Hello.
Hey, Sil. Hi,
Oh,
Jessica.
there we
Nice to
go.
meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Jessica, Matthew. I love when there's some overlap. Jessica was just talking about transition and how Jessica is an exemplification of transition. Anyway, just the concept of transition as a power conception, right, Jessica?
Yep.
Brilliant.
All right. Well, so I will talk to you later. Nice to
Fantastic.
meet you, Matthew.
Fantastic.
Nice to meet you too, Jessica.
Bye.
I
Okay.
love when there's
Bye.
overlap. Brilliant. All right.
Yeah.
Bye-bye, Jessica. Bye-bye. Let me
Cool.
just